Hello, bookish people. Marie here, usually reviewing sci-fi, fantasy, and horror, but today I'm going to attempt to do one of those book haul videos. I have this seemingly small book haul from Thrift Books. It seems like I haven't watched a lot of these videos, but it seems like the people who make them are book hauling 20 books, 50 books, more than that. And I don't know where they're getting all their money, but I don't have money to be buying 50 books. I have 5, and one I got discounted. So I will just be talking about these 5, and I'm actually not really sure how to do this or what I'm supposed to do exactly. So I'm just going to go with it and see what happens. The first 2 books that I'm going to talk about, I actually got recommended through another YouTuber, like from his video, not from him personally. I watched his video, and it's Andrew from the Valenza collection, who I didn't know anything about him beforehand, but his video just popped up, and it was a video of like, if you like this, then you should read these, and he was recommending indie books, and I'm always trying to find good indie books to read because I love to support indie authors. So if you know any really great, and I mean really great, indie books to read, then I'm always looking for recommendations. But he recommended these 2, and I'll put his channel in at the bottom if you want to check it out, if you want to check out the video that he made. And so I bought them. So the first one is Bookends by Ella Hayes. And I know that he was recommending some books based on, he was saying that they were romantasy or they had romantic elements to them, but he thought that they were more interesting or had more complex ideas or a more substantial plot than he thought that, I think this is what he was saying. If I got that wrong, don't blame him. It's my fault. But it seemed like that's what he was saying, or that's what I remember him having said. He was recommending books like that had this romantic element. This book definitely has a romantic element from reading the back, but it doesn't say anything about fantasy, and I can't remember what he said about it exactly, so I don't know if there's going to be fantastical elements, and I'm okay with finding out as I go along. I'm a little skeptical having read the back of this book because the language feels basic or like maybe simplistic or conversational, but I'm still totally willing to give it a chance, and it could be great. There was also a typo, so I'm not sure, but we'll see, and if I love it, I'll let you guys know. What the back of the book says, in case you don't know, this indie author, it's likely people won't. Her ex won't stop coming by. Her family is always on her butt about her career, and the bookstore she works at just can't get people in the door like they used to. But that doesn't bother Sylvia Wright too much when she has Daniel Cassidy's books to fall into, and his latest just came out. Daniel Cassidy is the biggest and still semi-controversial name in romance fiction, as Sylvia's celebrity crush. His words are the only ones she seeks comfort in, because what more do you need in life than a good book? A good book and that celebrity crush to walk through your door, maybe. Like something out of one of his books, Daniel steps into Sylvia's life and their romance immediately blossoms. But the closer they get, the less Sylvia's life seems to hold together. And now that he's a part of her life, to where can she now run from reality? So we'll see. You can probably see from what I just read what I was talking about with the language and my being a little skeptical, but I'm still definitely willing to give it a try and see how it goes. The next book that Andrew also recommended, and this one, I can't tell if it's a romance, but it's definitely fantasy, but I'm pretty sure he said this one was a fantasy with romance in it, is Fate's Tether by Jade Nyoma. And this one I'm more excited about. This one seems like I have the impression it will be good. It seems pretty interesting, and the back is well written, and it seems like it has a lot of interesting plot points going on. So I'll read the back of this one too in case, people have never heard of it. It says, "It has been nearly 50 years since Queen Cosima." I'm not going to be able to read any of these names, so bear with me. "Queen Cosima Aphelion became captive in her own kingdom, the Aria Archipelago, where the three sky-bound islands sit miles above the surface of planet Halos. With powers of fate and time manipulation, she seeks one end goal: to free herself and her kingdom from its toxic captor, her husband. Aurelio's manipulative control over her and her magic leaves lasting impressions on their world and Cosima's sanity. The king's destructive ways have tormented her for decades, leaving her a shell of who she once was. The Ambrosi, immortal beings, and Rani, powerful winged guardians, exist to care for the world and all its inhabitants, but their protection falters beneath Aurelio's rule, leaving clans of vampires, shifters, and witches to band together and protect their planet alone. The threat to their world becomes more than Cosima can ignore, and with a leap of faith, she embarks on a life-changing journey toward freedom. With angels, immortals, mysterious crystals, and otherworldly beasts, fate's tether follows Cosima's fight for redemption, reclamation of her power, and revenge. She pushes herself to new heights and new lows in this beautiful tale of survivorship and growth. So I think that sounds really cool. I'm a little concerned because it does seem like there's interesting plot points, but there's a lot going on. We have all kinds of different beings in different planets, and they're interacting with each other in all these complicated ways. And this character seems like she has a pretty complicated story as well. So this could be really interesting, but it could also be too much for what's here. I'm gonna find out. I also like the subheading of this, which is Escaping Destiny Through Tangled Threads, which, I don't know, I just think that sounds cool. And then on the inside, she's got a content warning, so if anybody wants to see that, they can. Some maps. Everybody loves maps. I'm not actually that big of a map person, but I'm fine with them. She has name pronunciation guide, which I will definitely need because I'm horrible at pronouncing names. And then I also liked her dedication, which is for the women who lose their way and come back stronger than before. So I don't know. I like that. This came out in 2024, so it's pretty new, and I'll let people know how it goes. The next book that I chose was not from Andrew's recommendations. This is just one that I just had on a list from, I don't know where I got it from, but it's The Wanderers by Chuck Wendig. And he's a best-selling author. I feel like I've heard of him before, but I don't know anything about him. I don't remember where I've heard of him, and I might not have. But this book is supposed to be a dystopian novel about the world's end, and reviewers seem to be relating it to Stephen King's The Stand, which I'm obsessed with and is one of my favorite books of all time. It is also lengthy, like The Stand. I don't actually know anything else about it other than what I just said. So, and I don't want to. I haven't read the information about what this is about because I'd really like to just go in blind. So I can't really tell you anything else besides that. But I really love world-ending dystopias. I don't know what it is about them. Fallout 3 is one of my favorite games of all time. I think it might be something about this idea of being in the world empty of most other people and just being able to explore and have anything you want at your fingertips. When I was younger, that seemed almost like magical. As I've aged, I'm now like, oh, wait, but there would be no doctors and so many other horrible, scary things that I didn't think about when I read these kind of books when I was a teenager. And I had no sense of mortality. Yeah, I think I just really like that aspect of it, but then I also like investigating characters who are in a situation where everything has radically changed. They're on their own or they're with new people who they've never met before, and their lives are going to have to be completely different, and they're tested in a way that they've never been tested before, and that's going to show them who they really are. So I love getting into the depths of humanity and people's, having to discover the core of themselves and people dealing with the most emotionally trying events that they might go through. I think I'll like this. I really hope that I do, and I'll let you guys know. The next one is The Remains of the Day, and hopefully I say his name right. It's Kazaro Ishiguro. I read Never Let Me Go, and it took me a little bit to get into it. I liked it, but I wasn't really sure what it was doing early on. And then, but I just, the prose was really well done, and I liked the characters, and I kept reading, and I quickly got really immersed in it. And then by the end, I loved it, and I thought it was an exceptional novel. And it's one of those novels where it's not, it's more of literary fiction. It's not like you're jumping from extreme plot points and just like rushing, and the plot and the conflicts are driving you forward in a really intense way. I would describe it as a quiet novel, even though it's also horrific. And it does the horrific aspect of it in such a mellow way that it makes it even more emotionally destructive, I think. But it also makes you think so much. It's a book that at the end of it, you'll really think about all these different ideas. So that is my favorite thing when I read a story. So I really wanted to just read another book by him, and I know this won the Nobel Prize. And I know there's a movie of it, and I've heard the name of it a bunch of times before I ever knew it was him or read Never Let Me Go. So I just really want to read this. And again, I don't know anything about it. I don't know what it's about. I know nothing. So, and I don't want to read what it's about because I just want to jump in because I love doing that with a novel if I think I'm going to like it. So I'm just going to do that, and then again, I'll let you guys know. The last book that I have is nonfiction, and this is Exterminate All the Brutes by Sven Lindqvist. A friend recommended this book to me, who has a lot of historical knowledge, so that's what made me pick up this one. I love a well-written history, and my friend said that this was written extremely well, so I think that it's going to be a good read and give me a lot of information. The back of it says, chosen as one of the New Internationalist's best books of the year, Exterminate All the Brutes is a searching examination of Europe's dark history in Africa and the origins of genocide. Using Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness as his point of departure, Sven Lindqvist takes us on a haunting tour through the colonial past, interwoven with a modern-day travelogue. By retracing the steps of European explorers, missionaries, politicians, and historians in Africa from the late 18th century onward, the author exposes the roots of genocide in Africa via his own journey through the Saharan desert. So this is a topic that I don't think we talk enough about, or know enough about, or it's taught very much. And I'd like to know more about it and understand it better, so that's why I picked up the book. I'll also let you know how this one is. So that's my haul. I hope it was what you expected and what you wanted, and that you got a recommendation out of it or something interesting. Again, I would love any recommendations for indie books that anybody loves, and also that idea. What made me pick up those two books that Andrew recommended was that idea of having this romance story that still has a complex plot, an interesting plot, and the romance is just woven into it rather than the whole main plot of the story. That's something that really interests me. I love an in depth story with romance on top of it or interwoven into it. So if you have any recommendations for books like that as well, I'd love to hear them. Or if you've read any of these books and you have an opinion on them, don't give me any spoilers. I don't want spoilers. But you can just say whether you liked it or you didn't like it in the comments. And I'd love to hear from you. Thanks. See ya.